You're listening to the Black Law Firm Marketing Podcast. With your host, Lee Brooks.
Well, welcome to the Black Law Firm Marketing Podcast. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Lee Brooks, as I mentioned in my intro, and I am your host, but I'm also the CEO of Black Law Firm Marketing Agencies. So, the name of this first episode is Why Create a Podcast for Black-owned law firms. Well, listen, guys. My team and I have been helping Black-owned law firms for the past 3 years at Black Law Firm Marketing Agency. We've been helping law firms both in Canada, United States, and the Caribbean. So we have so much insights that we've learned from working with different Black-owned law firms in different provinces, in different states, and different law practice areas. So we have a vast amount of knowledge that I would like to summarize and begin sharing with all of you. I know you all have your law associations, you even have your Black law associations and your bar associations, which are great. It gives you a lot of industry tools, but where are you going to learn the specific digital marketing tactics that work for your respective business? The little nuances that you may not necessarily get from those bar associations. You really need a digital marketing agency to share this with you, but not just any digital marketing agency. We're specifically focused on you. So the vast knowledge that my team and I have gained from reviewing 500 or more Black-owned law firm websites has taught me a whole lot, has given me amazing insights. And I want to share not only some of these insights, but I want to incorporate tools, tips, and strategies that you can apply to your respective businesses right away to help you attract more clients, increase referrals, and generate more revenue for your business on a monthly basis. So that's the goal of these podcasts. So today, it's really an introduction to explain why we're doing it. I'm going to talk about a couple things that I'm going to be focusing on over this next couple of episodes. And one of those things that we're going to be touching on is AI technology and tools like ChatGPT. Now, you're probably hearing this all over from various social media platforms, and it's like the biggest thing right now. Well, AI is not going anywhere. It's only going to evolve and get bigger. And what I have already seen is that the law firms, and here I'm speaking about non-Black-owned law firms, the bigger law firms that have been around for 20, 30 years, they have high-powered marketing agencies that are incorporating so many of these AI automation tools, and it's basically allowing them to separate even more from their competition. They're able to dominate their respective markets even more and take up even more market share because they're incorporating AI into their respective digital marketing ecosystems. So not only are we doing that for our Black-owned law firm clients at Black Law Firm Marketing Agency, but we have seen an increase in especially the SEO, meaning search engine optimization, meaning Google rankings. We've been able to see an increase in our clients' rankings and traffic because we've been incorporating these tools. And we want to not only share some of these insights, but share how AI can help not only with your SEO, but every aspect really of your law firm and your respective business. So that's one of the things that we're really going to be talking about throughout these podcast episodes. Another thing that we're going to be doing is we want to be interviewing some of our current clients who are generating good results, and I want to get them to share with you some of the things that they've been doing well within their respective business outside of what we're doing for them that's helping them build their business and ultimately increasing and doubling their revenue on a year-to-year basis. Another aspect that we want to be focusing on are the industry trends. We talked about AI, but we want to talk about YouTube. We want to talk about really how to build your brand as a Black-owned law firm. So one of the things that we've realized is that with different practice areas, you can market you have to have a kind of a different marketing strategy based on your specific practice area. For instance, personal injury, long-term disability, things like that, those are a lot more transactional, right? Because people aren't necessarily paying out of pocket for those, right? So they really just want somebody who knows their stuff, someone who they could trust, someone who knows that, where they know they have the experience to tackle the insurance companies and to get the best compensation for them. So that's a lot of times easier to market than, for instance, estate planning. Now, let's just say that you want to focus on, a lot of my clients, because they're Black owned, they actually want to focus on the African American, the Black communities, etc. Now, one of the things that I've realized is that you can't market. I mean, let's, I'm speaking to my people, right? Can I be frank? Can I be candid? You can't use the same marketing tactics that you use for other cultures that you use for Black people, right? We're very different. The message has to be customized. If it's too generic, if it's not tailored toward us, we're going to reject it, right? But also, something that my clients have told me through their experience is that there is a bias sometimes against Black-owned law firms, that there's a perception that they are not as qualified as the non-Black-owned law firms, right? From our own culture. So how do you overcome that? Well, the way you overcome that is you really have to build a personal brand presence. You have to speak to your people. Very same way how I'm speaking to you now, you got to speak to your people. You can't have generic campaigns targeting that specific group. Now, even more so, if you want to target your markets outside of your initial culture group, outside of Black families, Black communities, African American professionals, etc., then again, you need to build your expertise by creating more personalized content. So part of these episodes, I'm not only going to be talking about the success that we've had, but we've had a couple failures where we weren't able to deliver the best results for our clients. And we've learned from that. We realized that in those particular scenarios, we were trying to use more generic based, really great generic videos and generic content to build their businesses. And this type of, and what I mean by generic, I just mean they're not necessarily, you're not hearing their voice, but you're seeing their pictures, you're seeing their imagery, right? You're seeing them, but we're building marketing, we're building ads, we're building everything around more in a generic sense, really building their business, their brand, but not kind of highlighting the individual attorney. Does that make sense? Now we realize, for instance, things like estate planning, right? That's more personal, right? I mean, again, I'm speaking to my people here. As Black people, we don't like talking about death. I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing. I don't know if people from, who originate from Africa, who live in the States or Canada, I can't speak to that. But I know in the Caribbean, where my family is from, there's a stigma. There's a stigma about talking about death and preparing for, what one's estate planning, legacy planning. We just don't talk about these things. I don't know why. I don't know if by talking about it, it makes us think it's going to happen. I don't know. But I just know as a culture, we struggle with that. And you don't have to look far. I mean, I have 3 examples right off the top of my head. Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. He died without his estate plan organized. So his wife he had cancer, and God rest his soul, but he had cancer for a long time. And he could have been, not casting judgment on him or anything like that. But I mean, cancer is one of those things that, especially the way your health is going, that's probably the best opportunity to start planning, because at least in advance, okay, if this goes the full length, right, and it shortens my life, why don't I put some things in place? And for whatever reason, he didn't. So when he passed away, his wife had to deal with a whole ton of legal issues trying to get his estate planning. And this man had millions and millions of dollars. I remember Aretha Franklin, in which the baby boomers would all know very, very well. She died without an estate plan in place. And I believe she died maybe in her 70s. And she's been doing music for decades and decades. Again, how is that possible? And I think even James Brown, when he passed away, I remember they didn't bury him for a long time. He stayed above earth, or he stayed in his casket a long time, just because they're still quarreling over the legal aspects of his estate. So I say all that to say, when it comes to estate planning, you have to market it in a completely different way. You have to put yourself in front of the audience. You have to speak to them. And my clients who have done well in estate planning are those who create a lot of events, who do a lot of webinars and conferences. Because you need to educate. You need to teach people that estate planning is not just has to do with, planning for your death, but there's a whole bunch of other, aspects about that in terms of succession planning and making sure that things are in place for your children's education, etc., etc. So that's just one aspect. Same with family law and divorce, for instance. That is a very personal, experience, right? I mean, someone's coming to you in crisis. There's a lot of emotions, tied to that, especially when children are involved. You may not necessarily be able to just have a generic viewpoint. Like, you need to put yourself in front of your audience. You need to speak to your audience and explain to them why they should go with you versus, a bigger law firm or the next law firm. Like, it's not as transactional, it's more emotional, it's more personal, right? So you got to market differently. So I have found that my clients who have been more open to creating some personalized content, and us taking that content, rebranding it, really polishing it, making it really pop, and repurposing that for digital marketing, those are the ones that succeed the most. Whereas clients who are more hands-off, don't really want to put themselves in front of the camera and all that, it's a little harder to generate results, because we can send hundreds of leads to their site. We can, they can get amazing conversions and all that. We can get the traffic to their site. We can build their Google My Business profile. We can create awesome Facebook ads, awesome Google ads, even YouTube ads for them. We can send the traffic to their website. We can send people to their Google My Business. But if they don't convert, there's a disconnect there. It means that they're coming to the site, but they're not meeting the person, right? There may not be enough content to really help the person to resonate with you, right? Because it's more of a personal service that you're providing. So that's just an idea, right? That's just some things that I want to really dive into more in depth, because as the market changes, as the market changes, we're in a small reprieve from the COVID emergency, but everything is saying that the COVID is going to start back again, right? You see so many companies like Walmart and all these companies that are downsizing. Something's happening in the economy. And I want all Black-owned law firms to have their businesses ready to buffer any of those negative those negative scenarios that may happen in the economy. I don't want that affecting your business. I want your business to thrive regardless of what's happening in the economy. So that's what this podcast is really about, helping Black-owned law firms to thrive, giving you the insider tools, tips, and strategies that most agencies won't tell you. I'm going to give you these tips and tools. Of course, if you're watching this and you're a Black-owned law firm, I want you to become my client one day. But you know what? It's not even about that. First and foremost, I built a successful business by sharing information, by educating my prospective Black-owned law firm clients, so that you know where you are and you know what you need to do to improve your business and to thrive through digital marketing. Another thing that I've noticed, and something I want to talk about, and I'm not going to throw any particular business under the bus, the proverbial bus, but a lot of my clients have come to me and they've left some of these marketing agencies that do law firms for that do that build websites and stuff for law firms, and a lot of them have their own directories, right? So I'm just gonna leave it there. You can make your own assumptions. A lot of times I have even shown clients that are now been with me for well over a year, and some, like I said, I have clients that have been with me since late 2020. I show them your website is very templated, and I show them this is what this is how Google's ranking your website. These are the keywords, and this is everything that you should be doing, and this is what they've built. I've also been able to do scenarios where I've told them, this is your website, And this is another website that basically is the exact same template. There's no customization. It's cold. It's dry. It doesn't really showcase you, doesn't showcase your brand, and it definitely does not appeal to your respective audience. That's another thing. And you won't know. You won't know that this is not tailored to your specific audience. You're just assuming, hey, I pay them my money, and I'm assuming they know what they're doing. You're busy running your law firm, taking care of clients, being in trials, being in court, doing paperwork. You're doing all that. You're just expecting your agency to just know what they're doing and just trust them. And I've spoken to so many Black-owned law firms, and they tell me this, and I show them, okay, they're good, your website looks beautiful, but this is what's happening. When I kind of pull the blinds, I open up the blinds, and I let them see the back end of the site and see what's really going on. A lot of times they're just not getting the top-notch quality service that they should be getting, and you won't know that. You won't know that unless you speak to someone like myself, who genuinely has your back and who not only knows how to build your brand, but I'm going to give you a lot of information up front for you to know exactly what's going on with your brand. So within all these podcasts, at the end of each podcast, I'm going to invite you to book your free strategy call with myself or one of my team members so that we can take a look at your website and really come up with a game plan, a thorough, customized digital marketing game plan to help you improve not only your Google local results, because you want to make sure that you are that you're trending locally and that you're building your brand and generating really good local leads, but we want to make sure that you're competing on Facebook, you're competing on Google Ads, you're competing on YouTube, that you're generating personalized content to really get you to connect with your respective audience. That's what we want to help you do. So even if you book your free strategy call with us, we'll give you your game plan and we'll give you that PDF, and you can take that and you can think about it. But at least you're gonna have a specific blueprint. That's what we call it. You're gonna have a digital marketing blueprint that's going to allow you to see this is where you are. And if you want to move forward and you want to take a look at some of our digital marketing plans, which are super affordable, fine. If you want to remain with your vendor, fine. But at least have the tools to now keep them accountable. Hey, this guy said, this is what I need to be doing, and this is what we have. So how can we get to these things that he's outlined, right? That's all I want to do. I want to give you knowledge. I want to give you information to help you succeed. So again, thank you again for watching episode 1. I'm going to close this up. I look forward to seeing you on future episodes. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe, like, share, do all of that. Spread the word, spread it with your colleagues. We're going to be on Facebook, we're going to be on IG, we're going to be on LinkedIn, we're going to be on Twitter, and we're going to be on all your major podcast platforms, so you can download us there as well. Listen, thanks again. Tune in next week as we continue with episode 2. Until then, please take care. God bless. Stay safe. Peace.
You are listening to the Black Law Firm Marketing Podcast with your host, Lee Brooks. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and download our podcast from your preferred platform. We'll see you next week.